traders, a poor Euro session but a successful US session. So let's just trip through the journey of today's markets and let's just see where I went wrong. So we came into this is the DAX on the 15 minutes. So we had all this selling yesterday, came into this market with this pattern here and saw it push up into about 9 o'clock. Bought this 400 level only to see it stop me out, do a little bit of stop hunt. But this support found some buyers, crept back down towards yesterday's lows and then wound our way up. So the Dow did the same. So I didn't make the same mistake twice. So Dow 15 minutes came down to the 127 extension. So we've got a 127 extension reversal into the bottom of the zone. There's the middle section of the zone. There's outer. So we came into this resistance. So I've got a big chunk of that. And here we are just slipping back off of that, potentially back into yesterday's lows at 65 or more. All right, so watch these 15 minute, these are anchor charts. They're called anchor charts for obvious reasons. So just be aware of how they can operate. I sent you through an updated PDF not so long ago that talked about these 127 extensions. What happens if markets come off the previous day's lows, and of course we talk about the zone all the time. Alright, so this is the first day of the trading week for the US, so they're just catching up with what went ahead when they weren't around. So looking to the left of the chart, that was Thursday. It's possible, if we can't hold these levels here, that we just do a complete retest of this zone here at 24,900. Possible. I'm not going to be around now until Sunday, so obviously I'll be doing a full appraisal on Sunday for you, but in the meantime let's come back to the subject of last night's round table, and that is, look at the white chart for this. That's my 3-hour chart pattern. Let's go to the 1 hour, and this is the Friday close at 25,250, 260. So we've held this zone here, top of this fib zone, at the lows, which was a 127 extension in the 15-minute chart. We had a nice big buyer's bar here, so this pullback here to close to 100 may take us back to 250, 260. May. Okay, so I'm going to take this off and take that off as well. So as for pullbacks, if we get a decent push into 24,800, 24,900, that may be a place to buy. The rest of the week, not a lot of data coming up. Tomorrow is the biggest data day of the week. Got Euro services before 9 o'clock, UK jobs at 9:30, UK inflation at 2:15, US services 2:15. They are by far, so that tomorrow is by far the busiest day on the data front. Okay, so let's look at the DAX, because the DAX is closed an hour or so ago. Let's just look at how that is now looking on the daily. So this is my daily chart. This is the zone. So I've pinpointed, this is a buyer's bar here. The fibs is on this range. So now we're seeing a push into that. I've got this trend line here. We've pushed into that 50-day moving average, and at the moment we are failing, but we're sitting on this buyer zone here. So as long as this holds, which is 12,300, then I think the markets could do okay. But if we can't get above this, then expect these lower levels to get tested. So it's an unconvincing push higher today. So I think we may see some more weakness. You can see the MACD is low, crossing over. It's not been this low since I think it's November. We're above the midline by 3 bars on the histogram. But look at this crossover, this moving averages here, and look how we are after the big drop. Let me enlarge this. After the big drop and get rid of some of these marks. Come on. We are just seeing this potentially consolidate, and a bearish consolidation will normally be over once you hit a major moving average like the 20 or the 50. So we've just come in contact with that trend line and that 50-day moving average. So this is definitely not out of the woods until we start closing above this week's high at 550. 550 is going to be obviously a key mark. So that's what I'm looking for on the DAX. Let's look at the pound US because it's inflation tomorrow. You can see on my pretty 4-hour chart, there's the weekly pivot at 992. We're just a few pips above that. So if we get any aggressive moves into that 3-wave pattern down there, which will put it at roughly 950, 13950, if that holds, or if we see that number and it holds, then that might be a place to buy to get back to 141 plus. Otherwise, if we start closing under here, then this could be all over and we'll see 138 tested. So typically, as you go into a big piece of data, it is sitting on the sideline. The Euro Yen, I'll finish off on the Euro Yen. We are just about clinging on. We had a higher close yesterday, very shallow range today, pretty pathetic, whereas the pound yen with inflation tomorrow has done well, significantly better. So that's coming off this big long-term trend line from October 16 lows and August 17 lows. We've now connected with that trend line and beginning to build. So a pullback in this one is, I would put that between 900 and 950, possibly lower if you get a very energetic push lower on the inflation data. So my suggestion to you is stay out of the pound until you get the inflation data out of the way, and have your 15 and 16 4-hour charts very, very carefully marked up to see what that can bring you. Now let's look at the Sunday open on this pound yen. So we came into the Euro session, London open with a negative bar, lower close on the 60-minute chart. We hit the Friday close at 920 and spent the next 2 hours doing 100 pips. So you can see this 150 is an obvious support level, and these levels at there's 950. There's my suggested price level that you watch tomorrow, that 950 mark. I'll leave that on to remind myself when I come back to my screens. Alright, so we've broken this trend line, we've got this support. Let's see if we can get a decent pullback tomorrow and see if it holds. Alright, so let's just get back on the DAX 5 minutes. Sorry, I'm just flipping going right the way back to the early part of the conversation. And well done for you guys who shorted the Dow, because that using the London range on the Dow worked a treat. The volume on the Dow is far better suited to what we're trying to do here, because if you were really clued up on the 15-minute chart, you would have got this. So we peaked above the range, peaked, definitely sort of shot under the range, started to hold the previous day's close, and then just wound their way up. And there was a fade, a decent fade into the last hour, which gave you about 420, about 80 pips if you pick that fade up. Okay, so very frustrated with the DAX, really having a hard think about how I can improve my performance on that, because I have not been able to really get my head around that over the last couple of weeks. Just not applying enough patience to some extent, and just not allowing for its lower volume. Much lower volume than the Dow. Alright, so protect your account, look after yourselves, and I'll see you next week, when I will be publicising more live trading sessions for the US and some more events. Alright, bye for now, and take care.